voice in my heart helps me move forward. Life is no longer stranded. The world is grand. Life is in my hands. Love always helps me move forward. Always cultivate before time fades away. Time passes, blink of an eye. We cannot go back in time. Let's get together and strive forward. Love always helps me move forward. Make my life shine and be the star of life. It's always bright. Love always reminds me to move forward. Time is ticking and slipping away. Love always reminds me to move forward. Winds blow and clouds come and go. Love always reminds me to move forward. Happiness in my hands. Life is so grand. A voice in my heart helps me move forward. Life is no longer stranded. The world is grand. Life is in my hands. Love always helps me move forward. Always cultivate before time fades away. Time passes, blink of an eye. We cannot go back in time. Let's get together, straight forward. Love always helps me move forward. Make my life shine and be the star of life. It's always bright. Love always reminds me to move forward. Time is ticking and slipping away. Love always reminds me to move forward. Winds blow and clouds come and go. Love always reminds me to move forward. Happiness in my hands. Life is so grand. Love always reminds me to move forward. Time passes year after year. Love always reminds me to move forward.
Hello and welcome to our Super Live Secret Codes online workshop. My name is Ryan Sway, and first I'd like to thank Master Sun for providing us these great tools to improve our lives. I also want to thank our panelists and all the participants from around the world. Super Live Secret Codes teaches us how to take control of life using energy management. The book was written as a life manual, focusing on the two codes of love and gratitude. If used properly, these two codes can help us achieve success in every aspect of our lives. Okay, welcome everyone. And tonight we are again reading in the Abundance book, and we're focusing on a topic I think it's really important for pretty much every aspect of our lives. It's energy selling. In the sales world, there's a phrase or kind of a concept that in every conversation, somebody's being sold, right? If you're talking to your kids and you want to go eat at McDonald's and they want to go eat at Burger King, somebody's going to sell somebody, and somebody's going to get the thing they wanted. So when you think about that, then everything you're doing on a day-to-day basis, we need to kind of pay attention to our energy and what are we selling, right? Are you the type of person that your sales, your end result is you get your way, but everybody's pissed off or everybody's kind of bent. They're not really happy about it. Maybe because you're the boss, they have to listen, or you're the dad, or you're the mom. So that's all part of energy selling. And some people are extremely charismatic and they sell you. You don't even know you've been sold. And they almost, kind of play us like a puppet. They pull our strings and we do what they want and we feel great about it. And so I think all of us have at some point had that happen to us. It doesn't always have to be in a terrible way or you get cheated. But if you've ever been to a show or to a store, or you bought a product and you just went through the whole process and they one by one they sold you on every feature of the product and you walked out of the store with it. Not a terrible thing, but that's energy selling. Sometimes, like me as a guy, I have been sold already on a product. Some sort of energy got me, whether it's the brand, the performance of it, or whatever the case may be. I will run to the store and just buy it. I don't need a salesman. I don't need anyone to tell me. I just need to go find it, make sure it's what I thought it would be, and I buy it. So that's a form of energy selling. Somebody somewhere sold me on it. In sports, you see a lot of endorsements. So these super athletes are like, I'll use golf as an example. This particular golfer, Tiger Woods, he uses these products. If you want to be as good as Tiger Woods, you should use these products too, right? And so that's a form of energy selling. In our own lives, we have to think about when we are trying to sell someone something, what's our energy? And are we trying to help them? Are we trying to get our way? Are we trying to be nice? Not in a negative way necessarily, but are we kind of saying the things we need to say to get what we want? Is that your version of energy selling, right? Some people take it too far and then they end up lying to other people, right? So you promise something and then people, buy into it, then you don't deliver, or you say one thing, do another thing. These are different ways. And this energy ultimately is kind of comes out in the outcome. So you get your way, how do people feel? And so, I actually would like to ask Amy and Vivian to think about this and maybe later in the workshop, share some incident where you got your way and what was the outcome to the other people? Do you feel like they were very happy? Or do you feel like you got your way because of some other type of energy? For me as a salesperson, I'm happiest when I can convince my client to do something that I think is going to be most beneficial for him or her. And if they listen and then they reap that benefit, that to me brings a lot of joy. So that's my energy selling. My energy selling in that case is to benefit my client. Sometimes in my home life, maybe my energy selling is not the case. Maybe I want to eat Kentucky Fried Chicken and not everybody else does, but I really want to eat it, so I'm going to try to sell them on it. That's also an energy selling. So I think it's important that everything we do, whether we're sold on it or we're selling someone else on it, what's the feeling of everybody around you? And I think that's something that we have to pay attention to, because a lot of times we may not. We may think what I'm doing is right and what's right is right, so everybody deal with it. But if you think about energy management, there's a better way to saying what I just said, right? Imagine someone comes to you and says, Amy, this is right, and you just have to do it this way. There's no other way. Your way was wrong. Too bad, right? Nobody feels good about that. The other day I had a meeting with someone and I listened to what they said, and it was a lot of kind of, someone else said this, we already had an agreement, we did what we were supposed to do, and I felt like this person was just trying to talk me into just, okay, everything's fine. But I looked at it on behalf of myself and my client, and things aren't fine. There were things missing. And initially, my response was not a good energy selling. I was just going to stand behind the contract. You're supposed to do this, A, B, and C, and you didn't do A, B, or C. So now you have to do it. And I thought to myself, I'm right. They might think they're right in their own way. And so I decided, I said, you know what, let me try something different. And I said to them, I said, look, based on what you said, you did the work already. I said, oh, how about if you can just give me the company that did the work, and then I can see what they did. And if I have questions, I can ask them. And then I said, but don't worry, at the end of the day, like, we're going to all work together and make this a smooth transaction, right? If you did what you're supposed to do, absolutely, we will be happy, to agree to that. If you didn't, let's find out what wasn't done and maybe we can fix it. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. And I thought that little bit of added words to the situation makes it more pleasant. Instead of putting the other person, on alert because I called them out and said you didn't do something, right? And again, I could be absolutely right. But in a negotiation and dealing with other people, this energy selling is very important. Being right doesn't make a situation right or good. You might get your way, but then people are going to be very unhappy at times, and then they will be vindictive. They'll want to try to get back at you. So the minute they have an opportunity, they will poke you back. And this is not a good outcome of things. So when it comes to energy selling, we want to, again, be very aware of how we're selling our energy and, what outcome we want and what do we use, right? Because again, I can use another example of energy selling. If I put a gun to your head, you're going to do what I say. And that's because my energy, I have a gun and you don't. And is that a good thing though, right? And so we want to look at ourselves as we deal with people. And I always like to ask this question. Ask yourself when you walk out of the room, what are these people saying about me? Do they say, well, I really like that guy. I want to do more business with him if it's business. Or I want to hang out with him if it's social. Or do they go, thank God that guy just left because he's a whatever. These, I think, are important things to think about because that'll make us adjust our actions and tune our energy in a good way so that everywhere we go, hopefully, we make people smile, make them feel better, make them appreciate things, make them happy in a way, rather than be right and then upset everybody. Because if you've been in a family, if you've been in a relationship, if you've been in a business transaction, being right and pissing everybody else off does not make for good future deals. Does not make people want to work with you. They may have to work with you, but they may not want to work with you. And so things won't be as smooth. So as we think about this energy selling, again, we want to really pay attention to how we do things and what the result is, and then add in how do people feel about it. I think it's important, as a family, for me, if I say, hey, we're all going to go to watch a golf tournament, I know my family has no interest in that. And it may be a great trip in my mind, and other people may think it's a great trip, but I know my family wouldn't be interested in that. And so that's, I think, part of the energy selling, to recognize, what the result is, good or bad, and then how do people feel about it. I think a lot of us focus on the result, whether it's good or bad, but then we fail to think about how do other people feel about it. Because we stand behind, the term would be righteousness, right? We are right. The outcome was good. Live with it. But the people we live with, they may not like to hear that. So I think it's a very important thing as we take a look at energy selling and we evaluate ourselves and we manage ourselves. I think we can also then see how other people, their energy could be up or down. And maybe that's why if the energy's down and they're a little bit harsh, a little bit, rough, we can be more understanding. And then if we see their energies, full of positive energy, then we can expect good outcomes. So these are little things that we can pay attention to, starting from ourselves, and then it would help us deal with other people. Okay. So with that, I'd like to introduce our panelists. We have Amy from Las Vegas, Nevada, and we have Vivian from Walnut, California. So today we'll be reading from page 172. And again, the format of the book is a dialogue between Master Sun and a student. I will be reading Master Sun's section. So if you hear my voice, those are the words of Master Sun. And if you hear Amy or Vivian, those are the words of the student. Okay. So Vivian and I will begin. Hold on one second. Okay. Energy selling prerequisite 4, prudent management step by step. Let's talk about the next interviewee.
This one was the most fluent communicator of all. She could elaborate very well on every matter with clear logic. I could hardly find any weakness in her. She appeared to be one that could collaborate well and be able to take pressure. If I'm looking for people, I will definitely hire her.
If you can consistently communicate well in business, you will be recognized by your customers and you will have a good chance to receive more orders. However, if someone has a bad impression of you and keeps deducting marks every time he deals with you, you are unlikely to do well with him.
If you have low capability, people will soon find out. You need real strength to sustain.
Indeed, you need to understand human nature. In our initial dealings with people, we may have exhibited a high level of professionalism, making it irresistible for people to not give us business. But if we could not sustain the high quality, delivery, and service, we will end up losing opportunities in the future. It will be a big waste.
Hence, every step in business is crucial, from the beginning till the end.
Yes, this is not only applicable to salespeople, it is also applicable to everyone for everything. You should hold this attitude all the same.
Understand, Master.
Every detail in the sales process is critical. For many salespeople, They have capability, but why do they keep missing business? There must be some steps missing that cause bad outcomes.
Many salespeople are great communicators with full confidence, but there are some that seem to be good in communication but give up easily. Is it caused by the lack of persistency?
Yes, we need persistency with great faith. Okay, we can pause here. Vivian, would you like to share?
Yes, thanks for letting me read this section. I see Master Sun mentioned here we need persistency. This makes me recall my friends recently shared their dance performance for a year-end event. And then after watching the video of their performance, I expressed, oh wow, it's so great. I as a gratitude for their sharing. Okay, it's really, really good result of their hard work. You just let me think about the outcomes, right? You want a good outcome or bad outcome, you have to have some input. And then as Master Sun at a workshop has ever mentioned, 1 minute on the stage takes 10 years of effort, to work harder on the practice on everything. And then from her sharing, there's an opportunity for me to gain some insights. The first I see is their persistence, just like Master Sun said here. And then I see their diligent and sincere practice are their input, and that their great performance is the output. And then the input and output concept is what we learn in the Super Life Secret Code. It's also called the cause and effect concept. And every week, I know every week they get together and then practice together. And in the final hours before the performance, and everyone had to put on their costumes, and then they have headpieces, and then have rehearsal several times before the performance. And my friend told me that the dance teacher carefully and attentively pointed out the mistakes on her movement. And then through persistence and then sweating it out, their performance ultimately won countless rounds of applause. And the learning in Super Life Secret Code system, we need this kind of persistence. And this is from her sharing, this made me think about, wow, we also need a persistence. During our spiritual cultivation, we might face some tests, like a karmic tests, dream tests, and then many other tests. Well, whatever, is whether the test between you and your friends, you and your boss, your own family. I sometimes in my dream I had this kind of test to see how I react. Do I react per Super Life Cyclical way or my own old way? And then I feel like this reminds me of what the Master Son said, like one-side effect of Super Life Cyclical is that our faith can shift very quickly. And then once things improve, it's easy to become complacent. And then once complacent, we forgot the hardship we've been through. And once we forgot, we say bye-bye to survive cyclical system. Therefore, we must have deep talk, deep communication with our own souls. And then before reaching a complete stage, we must keep striving, breaking through again and again, and persisting again and again. Even after breaking through, we must still persist without forgetting our original aspiration, cultivating until both the sacred and the ordinary stage are fulfilled. And then the next, my realization is to participate this dancing event. The performers have to be paired as a male and female partners. And then most of them were not spouses or boy or girlfriend. So in addition to remembering their own hand and then foot and movements, they also had to coordinate well with their partners. And then this was a group dance performance. However, within the group, each pair was like a two persons running their own business. I remember one friend telling me that she originally had some complaints about her dance partner, but later she figured it out. She could spend more time to communicate with her dance partner, just like Master Sun say here, communicate well. And then she figured out, oh yeah, I should not complain about my partner. I should communicate more. Okay, what's the best move, best cooperation, coordination between them? And then that's why they spend the time to sit together to study each movement. And then because the goal is only they only want to reach the goal is to present a perfect performance on the stage. And relating this to the learning in Sublife cyclical system, when we truly integrate what Master Sun often remind us about letting go of ego in every moment, we can release the belief that we are right in a certain way. Sometimes we always, just like Ryan earlier mentioned, we always think we are right, we are right. So this is what my friend told me. She complained the dance partner because she thinks she's right. So after she figured out she's not right, so she let go the criticism, let go the complaining about the partner. That is why Master Sun frequently remind us to thoroughly understand and the universal truths, and then so that when things happen, we do not fall back into our old habitual patterns of thinking and acting. Just like in the daily life, there are countless causes and effects. Once a certain thought or intention is planted, we will wait to harvest the result. Think about my friends as an example. If she had continued to believe that she's right, her partner is wrong, and then every subsequent practice would certainly have been stopped. Um, just like she says, dancing is supposed to be a wonderful activity that keeps the mind joyful. If she always focus on her partner's weakness, and then wouldn't every practice be filled with being calculating or comparison and then countless XYZs. So after my friend shared this story with me, I'm so happy for her being able to figure it out and then communicate well with her partner and then let go of she's right, she's right. Yeah, she can let go of her big ego. Thanks for Master Sun's teaching, and then we definitely should improve ourselves from other people's life experience and gain some insights. Thank you. This is just my sharing.
Thank you, Vivian, for your sharing. Yeah, as this section talked about, and Vivian talked about, persistence and stuff, not and stuff, but persistence. I wanted to kind of ask Vivian, like, how do you feel that you kind of, when it comes to persistency, do you feel that you're persistent? I know, like from previous sharing and your business, your work kind of scope of work, you have to be persistent. You have to stay on top of things and do the numbers. But what do you think? As we talked about the energy selling, like focusing on the after effect of persistency, how do you feel like your coworkers receive your positioning of being persistent with perhaps the right answers or the right things, but how do you think they receive that? Do they take it with a smile, or is it kind of a challenge?
Just like the other day, we had a meeting with the warehouse guy because right now we are starting a new warehouse management inventory system. And then it's totally new to both accounting and then warehouse. And then they think of something they want to create, I mean, warehouse guy want to create some process without notifying us. And then once they made the problems, then they call me and then my inventory lady, hey, we need to discuss this, blah, blah, blah. And then at the first time, I feel like, wow, why? why you don't discuss with us, okay, first, and then right now you meet this situation, and then you kind of force us to create something in the Oracle system. So, like if I didn't learn Super Life Secret Code, I might just boom say, hey, say something directly. And then right now, and after learning Super Life Secret Code, I try to change myself. The persistence is not like doing my old way to just be direct to criticize, okay, their mistakes. No, right now, I persistence is okay, listen to their problem first, and then I let my inventory lady say something first. I don't jump into the topic to because I already see the problems, but I don't do it. I let my inventory lady to express how she thinks, what her decision is, and then I feel I'm happy that she did the right thing. But the only thing that she didn't do it right because she used the accounting term to explain this to the warehouse guy. Warehouse guy doesn't know any accounting term like journal entry or whatever. So after she finished the conversation, I jump in. But I didn't embarrass my inventory lady. I just emphasize her statements and to ask warehouse guy, hey, do you know what she meant? Okay. And the warehouse guy said, no. And I said, let me explain it to you. Okay. This is how accounting uh, is doing in whatever. I try to explain in a simple way because to accounting, we know the term. Okay. But to warehouse guy, they have no clue what it is. So my persistence way is try to listen to others first. Try to let my coworker to express uh, the correct way or to handle this case. And then I this is how I change myself. And I feel like, okay, my coworker, after the meeting, I explained to my coworker, do you know what the mistake that you just made? And then she was kind of like, hmm. And I say, okay, everything was good at first couple sentence, but the last sentence, you should not say the accounting journal entry name because they don't understand. And then her eyes was kind of like bright, and then I can see she appreciate my correction not in the meeting. So I think this is the good thing. Okay, I try to because this is what this grade says, and then don't correct someone in front of in the public, and you correct someone in private room. So this is how I do it, and I think following this way to do the right thing is my persistence. And I can see my inventory lady was happy because I didn't like before I correct her the mistake in the meeting right away. So this is the thing I correct myself. Thank you. This is just my persistence. Yeah.
Thank you, Vivian. So it sounds like, in the end, the persistency, pays off, and people are happy with the outcome, and I think that's the win-win, that we're looking for. Because I know there are times when people's persistency just is too much for other people to take. So it's great to hear a situation where persistency pays off and is beneficial for all. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, moving on to the next section. Amy and I will be reading from page 173. And Amy, it looks like you start.
Okay, energy selling prerequisite 5. Project your self-assurance, positive energy. The next interviewee was a student. She was a part-timer selling clothes. I asked her to introduce her clothes. Her tone was rather flat, and her gaze was rather unstable. The products she introduced were not appealing, but at least she was an honest person. Her speech was nice, not too fast and not too slow. My impression of her was average.
You have hit the point. While talking, It is a big no for the salesperson to have an unstable gaze, especially if you are talking to a VIP or when you are dealing with a very large order. Your power of charm depends a lot on if you have effective eye contact.
Some people will look everywhere when they are talking and they do not maintain eye contact with their audience. How can they improve on this?
Our eyes are the windows to our souls. There is a close relationship between one's eye contact and his spiritual self. You need to be clear which level you are at. A friendly and warm gaze projects positive energy. This needs diligent practice so it becomes habitual. You can start your practice with your family members and apply the energy selling technique to your daily life and make everyone your audience.
Yes, I understand. The fifth interviewee was a middle-aged female. She was sincere in her speech with a pleasant tone, but she seemed to have low self-esteem.
The reasons for low self confidence could be the lack of social exposure. Hence, she could not anticipate and respond completely to various human reactions. If you would like to be a powerful salesperson, no matter how big or small your client is, you must see them face to face and practice as much as you can to gain experience. Even though you may not get the order, you have earned valuable lessons to improve yourself.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes, the strength of top salespeople is their ability to pre-program all kinds of possible circumstances in their mind. Sales is not only to take up challenges and meet targets, it is to sincerely make friends with customers. When customers feel our sincerity, the energy of the deal will be beautiful. We should follow this principle in our professional and daily life to transform ourselves to our strengths. From there, we will develop a high level of self-confidence and be able to face all circumstances well. Let's talk about the next one.
Master, could I check?
We can pause there.
Okay.
Okay, so this section kind of allows us to, as it says, our eyes are the windows to our soul. So that's true. If you ever talk to someone and they have a kind of wandering eye where they can't look at you, they can't, keep their eyes in one place. Sometimes these people are kind of distracting, or they give you the sense that they don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes it's a sign of like weakness, even. The other day, a few weeks ago, I ran across this person, the CEO of this big company, and I was probably 30 to 50 feet away from him, and he looked over towards my direction, and I felt like he was looking at me. And this gentleman, his eyes, the stare he had, he was very serious looking, and it was almost intimidating. And I was thinking to myself, I normally don't have that, but perhaps because of his positioning, the background that I knew of him, the eyes just like connected, and it's like he looked right through me. I was like, what's going on? This was kind of unusual. So it's true, our eyes play a big role in our ability to work with people. If you've ever played poker, the whole poker face, how your face looks, how your body reacts to the cards you get, or certain things. People read these things, and it's very telling of a person's situation. So knowing that, we need to make sure that we manage our energy properly, and that we have we can look at people seriously and powerfully at times, and then other times we can be more subtle and be more relaxed. But we do have to have the ability to be serious, because otherwise, if we don't have that, you know, energy selling is sort of lost because we're kind of empty. And so that's why I think, you know, it's important that we recognize this and we utilize it to our advantage. I don't know if you've ever encountered someone that in conversation, if you look at them, they look away. You look away, they look at you. You look at them again, they look away. That each person may have their own reasons as to why they do that, but it's not super comforting. For me, when people do that, I feel like they're not honest or genuine, and possibly they don't have enough positive energy to kind of stand firm. They might be floating. They might be kind of wishy-washy. So it's important that we recognize the glare, the look of people, and that can carry some weight. And then we as individuals, again, we need to pay attention to make sure that we look and act as strong and powerful as can be. Again, as we think about how you look at things, make sure also that your look is not so like empty. Like we oftentimes talk about, you know, people that look like they're daydreaming. They're not engaged in things. This has an effect on things. If you're trying to sell something and you're just kind of halfway there, it's hard for the other person to capture your energy. And ultimately, like we mentioned, energy selling is exactly that. It's all about your energy. So we want to make sure that we portray this energy properly, whether it's through our eyes, whether it's through our talk, speech, words we choose, our physical appearance. All of these things will add to it. And we need to be very, very cautious of how we act. And it's true, like in the book here, it talks about, you know, how do you act to a junior person or a VIP or a president? There's some variations to each person, but you can't be completely fake, right? To one person, you can't be like so harsh and so strict, and then to the big boss, you're so nice and anything can go. That's probably not the best way to do things. And so through Deeds of Gui and our own kind of self-enlightenment, we have to recognize genuineness and then being balanced and kind of across the board, be honest. That will be a kind of a powerful tool for us. And again, something that we have to monitor. So kind of back to what we talked about earlier, the outcome and how people react to your outcome. I think for me, in this section, it's really important that we focus on that, because we can't just go by, in this day and age, it seems it's not as common that we can just win on merit alone. We kind of have to sell the room. And so as you think about that, ask yourself, as you self-reflect on the things you've done, are you selling the room or are you selling the thing? And does that thing have, you know, a negative effect towards other people? So do you focus on the win-win or the win-loss, win-loss-win? Like there's variations to this. And it's just a question of how receptive are you to this, and then how well do you deliver your concept. So again, as we go through this section and it's talking about positive energy, protect, you know, self-assurance, we have to be confident, but we also cannot be cocky. Recently had an opportunity to talk to a designer who's getting to be a little bit cocky, a little bit arrogant. However, I know the conversation he had with this one other person who's been known to be cheap, that the architect was already kind of short, or impatient with this particular potential client, that the arrogance kind of came out. And so this is something I think we all want to be careful of, is that when we start thinking too much or talking too much about me, and everything kind of revolves around me, then you're going to discount the energy selling. You don't feel authentic and genuine to your client. You become kind of your own thing, and if it works, fits in, then you do the client's thing. And so in my world, it's very important that my client always knows that my first and foremost interest in dealing with him is to protect their interests. If it's financially, to help them increase their profits. If it's just convenience, common sense things, be there to create those situations, to resolve those situations for them. And so that's the kind of thing that we have to, work towards. And we have to be flexible, and not allow our kind of confidence to become interpreted as arrogance. And, again, question, to the panelists, do you guys ever find yourselves kind of having to backtrack a little bit because maybe you came on too strong, or you were a little bit rough, you were disturbed or impatient or, frustrated, and it came out? Do those types of things happen to you? Do you recognize them? And if you do recognize them, how long does it take for you to recognize them and resolve them? So I think this is important. If we do monitor ourselves every second, let's just assume we make a mistake and 5 or 10 seconds go by. That's manageable. If 5 or 10 minutes go by, maybe not as much. 5 or 10 hours, definitely not. And then, 5 or 10 something. So we got to get on it quick, and we got to make sure that we strive for that win-win. Okay. Thank you for letting me share. We'll now go to the next section, and Amy and I'll be reading from page 175. Hold on one second. Let me make an adjustment here. Spotlight. And spotlight. Okay, Amy, looks like you start.
Master, could I check one more thing with you? Is it true if we cannot master the skills in controlling speech, eye contact, and attitude, it will affect our ability to mobilize and enhance our energy?
Certainly, you will find it rather difficult.
Okay, the next interviewee seems to suffer from such a problem. She bowed her head the whole time. I could hardly see her face. She appeared to be having a very low self-confidence. Maybe she was thinking about something, but she was so distant and cold in her interaction. I would never consider her for my salesperson, but she could be one that supports internal operations.
Confidence can be trained. An individual who has only spoken to one person compared to another person who has spoken to hundreds will project a very different level of confidence. You need to take the initiative to self-practice when you identify weakness in yourself, start practicing to overcome the weaknesses.
How many people should we interact with and do self-practice before we can see improvement?
You need to consider your pace of progress. You should drive your progress and not let it happen by itself. Always find opportunity to self-improve, self-study, and self-adjust. Most importantly, get to know yourself, know where you are lacking, and work on improving your weaknesses.
We have covered many great selling tips. If I apply all these tips with my high level of motivation, I am quite confident I will be the top seller.
Indeed, initiative and high motivation is an essential foundation for a good salesperson. They are also one of the deciding factors if one will be successful. Remember, remember this. Every single encounter between you and your customer means business. It must not be taken lightly. If done well, it will improve your relationship and create further opportunities.
This is the key factor that sets a great salesman apart from the rest.
Yeah, some time ago, I came across a salesperson. He was rather arrogant and he thought he was very professional and was babbling nonstop, but I could hardly understand him. I asked him questions about his products and he reacted as if I was dumb. This is a big no in sales and of course, excuse me. This is a big no in sales and of course, he did not get to close any deal with me.
It is really not easy to be a salesperson. You need to take care of every detail and every stage, otherwise, you are going to fail.
This is life. You need to anchor yourself carefully with every step you make.
The
Okay,
next,
we can pause there. Amy, would you like to share?
yes, the title of this section is so powerful. It says unleashing the superpower salesmanship in you. So in a way, that Master Sun is sharing and also teaching us that in life, we're all we need to obtain this salesmanship because we live in a social society. We're interacting with people constantly. If we don't have the salesmanship, we don't have the knowledge of, we're going to have a lot of problems. Even at work, at home, talking to people, trying to convey ideas, trying to get our ideas across. It's all about selling ideas, selling a project, selling collaboration. So if we don't know how to communicate and we don't have the people skill and we don't have the charisma that people don't like us, that is a problem. So I think this section, it sounds like it's about interviewing other people, but this is a whole lot of self-reflection. It's almost like the Master Sun is asking us, do we um, carry all these attributes? In order to be successful, we have to have all these things. And the flaws, the problems that these people have, also ask ourselves, do we have their problems? If we do, how do we improve upon these issues? So I see a great big issue on lack of confidence and don't know how to talk to people, the wandering gaze or the uncertain gaze, or talking, not the volume is not loud enough or too loud, or talking too cocky, over talking somebody. These are all big no-nos. So Master San is right. If we in life we're lack of experience, then we will appear to be less confident, and also our performance would not be as good. But however, everyone is in different occupation, or some people don't have, or could be a housewife. So the people that she deals with are limited versus someone working in a job field and talking to lots of people, or possibly doing a presentation to hundreds of people all the time. So comparing the two people, they will have totally different communication skill. But doesn't matter where we are, we need to up our skills. even though maybe at this right now in our situation, we don't have the opportunity, but we can create and find opportunities, or we can use our family members as a person like a actor, like a role that we role play with this person, and see the improvement, and based on our relationship, how it goes. That is our report card. I think Super Life Secret Codes is fantastic because one of our big thing is to share righteousness and the truth of the universe with people. If we learn about something, Super Life Secret Codes, the secret codes, if these codes are so precious, would we not want to share it with people? Do we want to just keep it to ourselves? Absolutely not, because in life we learn to be more love and gratitude and become more caring and virtuous and making connection and create positive affinity with people, because by doing so we're building up positive energy and connection. So of course we have to, in order to achieve that, to be successful, all these skills, communication skills, we have to learn. So in Superlight, because I set up my mind as my goal to share with people. So I learned to talk to people. There are times we maybe stand in front of a shop and just talking to strangers and share the little booklets. Or when we're on an airplane or somewhere, we're chit-chatting with someone, maybe a stranger. Somehow we make a good connection, and we find this person is very nice, and we share about Super Life Secret Codes with this person. But can you imagine we're extremely shy and we're not very vocal? We don't know what kind of words to use with lack of communication skill. When we have to talk to people, we sound very insincere, and we sound like we don't know what we're talking about. And so the other person will not, have a great response. So just by practicing, do more, what sharing, the truth of the universe, the righteousness, we learn we learn communication skill, we learn making connection with people. So by doing this one thing, we actually improved our social skills, which helps our life. So this is a great project, communicating with people, sharing what we know with people. It's so fantastic. Another thing I notice is I remember it was Super Life Living Codes. In the book, Master Sun has mentioned that a lot of people who have hot temper or bad temper, and most people don't know that they have this problem. So ask yourself, are you someone who has hot temper, very gets excited a lot, but you absolutely don't know yourself very well? And what Master Sun wrote in the book is that people who have hot temper would say, I don't think I have hot temper, would say it to other people. So that is a problem, because not knowing who we are, and we would not want to make improvement because everything we recognize is all good. So how do we know ourselves? Learning Super Life Secret Codes is the solution, because Master Sun taught us to study 弟子规, and 弟子规 is a great reference. Just by studying it, and we look at a great guideline and a great example, and we self-reflect constantly, we can catch it. We can catch a lot of the things that we have which don't align with the guidelines. That's how we catch it. So I used to have very impatient, but luckily I knew but I didn't know how bad it is until I learned Super Life Secret Codes, especially learning about Di Zi Gui. I catch more than just, being lack of patience. I catch so many other things, and that is a good thing. The more we can see, the more we know ourselves, the more we can improve and become a better version of ourselves. Another thing I want to share is that I remember Master Sun in one of the weekly workshops, he had mentioned that he noticed that he got some weeds in the front yard. And because Master Sun is very busy, and he kind of just ignored it for a while. And he couldn't find time to, clear the weeds. And I think one day he got a notification from the association or something, and he realized, okay, I really have to, pull the weeds and clean the weeds. And so he went out and he did it, and it only took him like 20 to 30 minutes. And so his story to us is that instead of having an issue bothering us constantly, it's almost like a noise that's constantly draining our energy because we know it is there. We know we have something that we haven't complete, but we kind of just dismiss it. But the thing is always there, always a reminder. It's very annoying. But if we just take the initiative and finish it right now, we get rid of the noise and it would not linger for weeks and weeks and weeks. So he said it only took him 20 to 30 minutes. He should have done it a long time ago. So I remember recently I have the same story. My coffee machine, it needs to be descaled because the light goes from green to red. It's a signal telling me that I need to clean my coffee maker. So I got all the right things. I got the cleaner. I found the video on YouTube and I did it once, and I couldn't get rid of the problem. I got a little irritated. I took my time to do it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to move on to something else because I'm very busy myself. So, but however, that light is always red. Every morning when I go make a coffee, I see the red light. It's very, very annoying. And also every time I walk past the coffee machine, it's like a signal tells me that you have something that's incomplete. It's very annoying. So and it's like what Master San had said, it's like leaking your energy constantly. Every time you get a reminder, it's leaking your energy. So one day I couldn't take it anymore. I pulled out my laptop and put on the YouTube and I went step by step. I really was very careful. It took me longer than last time. And this time it was a success. The coffee machine was clean, so the light went from red to green. I realized, this is fantastic because from now on I don't have a noise. It doesn't bother me anymore. And every time I walk past the coffee machine, no problem. And the next morning it feels great. And it's the same thing. I told myself I should have done it a long time ago. I should just find some time just to get rid of it. So this example reflects to everything in our life. If we have unfinished business, don't linger, don't put it, don't, what is it called? Don't ignore it. Just like life lessons, there's certain homework that we come here to complete for, but we just put it on a side and we keep, splurge, having fun. But at the end of the day, we still have to turn in our homework. We have to be evaluated by the universe. By then, if we're not prepared, nothing is done. What are we going to do? It's like the negative energy. They're collecting, they want merits, and we keep ignoring it and tell ourselves, that's okay. I have time, and we keep playing around doing whatever we want. One day, the negative energy comes to us to collect. We're going to be in a big trouble because by then they have no patience. All they are looking for is execution. They want to punish us. Then we will be in deep trouble. So while we can finish it, complete whatever lessons we have right away, so we don't have noise and problems linger in our life. That is my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, for your sharing. Yeah, as you were talking about, not letting things linger, I think that's, very important. It's true. A lot of times we do things and it may not be right, and we just kind of let it be. And then sometimes we say we'll get to it, and then other times we just slowly let it become a habit. Earlier, I was talking to someone about golf, and it was kind of that way. We do something wrong once, and then we just continue to do it wrong, but we try to make it work, make it okay. And I think, again, that kind of goes back to that question I asked earlier in the workshop. We need to think about whatever we do, whatever the reason, what our justification is, what our reasoning is, how do other people receive that? And I think it's a very important, and it's very critical that we monitor that, because I know a lot of people feel like what they're doing is right. How they're doing it can be questionable, but the outcome might be desirable. But again, at the end of the day, we all need to ask ourselves, how well are we received? Are we getting compliments behind our back? Or are we getting finger pointing or complaints or, negative things? Hard to know, because if it's behind our back, people aren't going to tell us. But things, there's a saying, you read the room, get an idea of how people perceive you and your actions. And my thing is, if I find, or I read the room and I feel like everybody's not receiving me very well, then I think my energy selling's not so good. So the question would be, what is my energy at that point? Am I exhausted? Am I sick? Am I lost? Do I not, no confidence, no knowledge? Like, what is it that would allow me to get to this level? So as we, refine and improve our energy selling, we need to, one, know our own energy. And like Amy said, don't have leaks and then have not enough energy or bad energy. And then we need to know how our imposition or imposing of our energy affects other people. This is, if you were the boss, what kind of boss are you? How do our children react to us? How do our siblings, how do our parents, how do people in general react to our actions? So I think it's something we can, monitor, and then maybe we'll have a conversation on this next week, just to kind of circle back and see what your thoughts were. So anyway, I want to thank Vivian and Amy for their reading and sharing. I also want to thank all the participants online. And last but not least, I want to thank Master Sun for providing us these great tools to improve our lives. Have a great rest of your day in Asia, and a great rest of your night in the US. Thank you.